So, hi there. As you know, this session will be kind of different. You know that there is a slightly change in terms of how we're going to meet. So, I thought I will just record my face so that you may have some key points from this new topic that is called the late Middle Ages. Yes, the early ages already finished with the kingship of Edward the First, the Longshanks. And let's start with this one. Let me give you like a overview what happened in terms of key points, and then let me give you the class agenda in terms of topics. So here, 14th century, of course, was horrible, a disastrous for Britain because two main elements happened. Number one, the 100 Years' War between France, how the economic or the agriculture part was affected negatively towards this war, and there is something called the Black Death Plague. You will see something more about that later. But in overall, this is what really happened. Once again, it was horrible. It was a disaster because the war presented some negative effects in toward the society and the kingships. Because now the authority and the respect that it is presented that prevails for many years was like diminishing in terms of respect and authority, yes, in how the authority presented the kinship toward the society from this century. So let's continue. So right here, yes, right here you may see the elements or the topics that will be discussed or shared in this class. First, the century of war, plague and disorder. What I said about the 100 Years' War, the Black Death Plague, and how the new, let's say, the new society or the new social strata that emerged from the Black Death. Then we have War with Scotland. So, of course, the same story that we have with William Wallace, the Scotland versus Britain battles. The Age of Chivalry, Edward the Black Prince as the main, let's say, the role model how a knight should be. And of course, the Century of Plague that it is also called as the Black Death. You will watch like a particular video that you will learn a lot about that. And yeah, of course, the two last topics we have here, the Puritan Revolt and Heresy Orthodoxy, you will be assigned to do something later. And of course, the last one, Wood of Roses, you already know something about that. But of course, extra assignment. So in this part of the presentation, you supposed to do something with me in class, but of course we're not there. So please, ladies, pay attention, and boys, of course. You will be given like a particular topic that you will share with us. I mean, what can you remember from those topics? So ladies, be aware which topic will be assigned, and also you guys, because you will provide some comments right here in my YouTube channel and I will check them all. So please, everybody should participate in this part. So continue. So ladies first, of course. Ladies, what can you remember from these two pictures? Come on. It's quite easy to remember who those guys are. First, this one over here, it was very important for the Scots. Not at the beginning, but after that, it was a very meaningful character. Thanks to him, it was possible to obtain that desired goal and objective. So please, comments who that guy is and what was those actions that he did so that the Scots can be really proud of. Of course, the person next to him is the opposite. It's Edward the Longshanks. Yes, that's the one. That's our beloved guy. And over here we got Edward II, and of course his desired wife or beloved wife. Please, ladies, just make some comments. What can you remember from those two guys? Thanks. Boys, we got William Wallace and the Scottish War of Independence. So they were like two particular battles that we remember from the movie. Can you make some comments about that? And of course, William Wallace. How can you describe William Wallace in just 2 or 3 words? That's all, boys. William Wallace, Scottish War, ladies, Robert Bruce, and Edward II and Edward I. Let me see your comments. I will check them all. So let's moving on. Over here, we may see 5 different topics from this chapter number 7. So assignment number 2. You will choose one of this topic and will give me, please give me some summarized, simple way to describe what happened with this topic. So number 1 over here, the Black Death. What do you know of, please? Concise comment of what do you know from this topic. Number 2, it's the Scots versus England's uh, battleships or war that they had in the 13th century, also the beginning of the 14th. So it's Scottish versus British people. Then we have the Hundred Years' War. So what can you tell me about that? Please comment below this video. Then the new social class that emerged after the Black Death, that is called Yemen. So what do you know of them? And finally, the Black Prince, the age of chivalry. It is so important that you mention key elements from one of these topics. So class assignment number 2, make some comments from one of these topics. So over here, in our first topic, the war with Scotland and France. Sounds pretty weird, but it's not what it looks like. No, it's just what happened with Britain versus Scotland and France. So yes, they were allies, Scotland and France, and this ally emerged at the moment of Edward I claiming the throne of the Scots lands. Of course, it didn't happen. We already know that despite William Wallace's death, Robert Bruce made a huge effort to fight and to win these battles against the Britain's kingship. So Edward II reinvaded Scotland in 1314, of course, with the help of some important novels and English-held castles. But of course, it was thanks to the French allies that the Scotland people, the Scottish people, may survive and won the important battles, especially this one that was called the Bannockburn Battle. Of course, that was led by Robert Bruce. And we will see, well, in the picture at the end, we will see in the movie that at the end, Robert Bruce claimed the freedom of his land, of his people, and it was things not also because he gathered all the Scots in one single battlefield. No, it's because they got a particular ally that was called or was named France. So over here it is the perfect portrait how Robert Bruce won one of the greatest and most important battles from the whole time for the Scottish people. Of course, England's wish to control Scotland had suffered many setbacks, especially in Bannockburn 1314. So many of the Englishmen had been killed, not just because Robert Bruce was the leader. There was a main factor is that it was possible that the Scottish peoples or the Scottish freedom was possible to obtain just because England's war was with France, and of course, France was an important ally for the Scottish people. So, after this successful attempt, England just gave up his claim to overlordship Scotland in 1328. But of course, this battle was the setback, was the key point that made English people to set back. It's proclaimed to be the new leader or to be the new kingship or to be the new king of these foreign lands. So, taking into account the inner problems already mentioned between the Scots and the British countries, it is necessary to mention that this was that something deeply inside was happening is that the English kingships and versus the French kinship, they were having also like a big um, troublesome wars between these two countries. So to sum up, you already know that everything started with William the Conqueror. He was born in France. He was a Norman kinship, and of course he was the leader and also the owner of many lands from France. So France was like trying to restore that authority. William the Conqueror, also Henry II, John, Edward I, they all belonged to the France lands, and many lands are part or were part from the kingship in England. So France, little by little, was like trying to restore a growing authority from those lands, and and of course England didn't like so much these changes. So after many suffering for centuries from France, now they were taking back some lands. So here we have the the map in which we may see Normandy, Brittany, Poitou, Gascony, all those properties are from France kingdom. Of course, England, they still got power for some of them, particularly from Flanders, from Gascony, and from, what was the other one? From Burgundy. Flanders, Burgundy, and Gascony. They were the main part of England uh, trade market. England was really famous because they were the leaders of trading in three main parts of cotton, wine, and what was the other in the agriculture one. So everything that England trading market was taking part was focused in these three countries. So guess what? France didn't like so much this trading part, so they started to make some troublesome with the Duke of Burgundy and of course the same with the Duke of Flanders. So, to make his position stronger, the King of France began to interfere with England's trading market. So, part of all the market from Gascony, from Flanders, it was just mainly, once again, in wine and corn, and of course, in cloth. So, this trading was very important for England because it produced a lot of money. So in 1324, the French king seized past a great part of Gascony and Burgundy, and the England kingship didn't like so much. So the only way to solve this problem is that England threatened France to a big war. So, the beginning of this battle, everything started from 1337 and ended up in 1453. And so it is important to restate what the main causes were. Number one, England didn't have the opportunity to restore their trading market with Flanders, Gascony, and Burgundy because France really wanted to restore its authority in the lands that belonged to this kinship. So, of course, the only way to find solutions taking English positions is to start a war against France. Please, you need to watch this video. It's an 8 minutes video, but you will love it because everything about this battle will be explained in that period. But I want to give you like three main parts, three main points from this battle. Is that number one, at the beginning, England was winning this war just because they were really good at battlefield. After many experiences, after many battles against Scots, the Irish, they were really good at. So of course, they are experienced warriors. They have a really high IQ battleship, so they were winning, especially in the Crecy battle 1346. They were using a particular way of fighting is that they were using their long bows Welsh. It's a particular arrow that they were using, and of course they are really skillful at that. And thanks to that, they were winning and they won the greatest battle ever, the Crecy in 1346. Of course, after many battles, small battles, of course, I need to clarify, the French king was taken as a prisoner, but of course, the money, it was a main factor. That's why the French kingship paid this amount of money, and it was he was set free. He was free of this prisoning, but of course the battle and the war continued. Of course, there was a treaty very important to remark. It was the Treaty of Burgundy. What happened with this treaty is that England restored its position to Flanders, Burgundy, and Gascony, and of course the claim of the throne that the English people were claiming was not necessary to continue. So they stopped doing that claiming, and they just wanted to their lands that focus their trading market. But 15 years, that's the time that took French to won this war. In small battles, they were winning and taking a very important position in war that at the end, guess what? The winners were the French ones. So now it's really important to talk about the age of chivalry. So you know what? This is just about how elegant, how important, how meaningful, how worthwhile the family of Edward the First was for its society. And Edward the First, here you can see it, and Edward the Black Prince, his son, were like they were really admired in England just because they were really good at battle, and of course their the educated way and the manners, they were given like the symbol of the code of chivalry. It's like the perfect way to consider how a knight should behave. And of course, during the reign of Edward, there was a very important interest how the knights should behave and be part in the battles. So it was just like a confusion, motivate or encouraging people to be part of battles and represent and love their country so much so that they can die in a very honor way. That was the whole thing of the chivalry. Of course, they were really into the legend of the King Arthur. That's why there was like a very important reunion or meeting every year, and they established something called as the I can't say it like a particular meeting that they created also like a motto that is only sword il mai pensé, which means let him be ashamed who sees wrong in it. So they got a motto, they got a like a very important symbol how a knight should behave. So this Age of Chivalry, it was just that to portray the novels, the knights as something important and honorable to die in a battle, and that's it. So something similar to what I just said here, you may see some key elements from the Age of Chivalry, how the Black Prince and Edward the Third were the most important symbol of how a knight should behave. Of course, according to the Code Chivalry, the perfect knight fought for his good name. If insulted, of course, it was like serving for God and the king, blah 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 blah. They got a motto, like a slogan that was called "Oni soit qui mal pense," which means "Let him not be ashamed who seems wrong in it." Of course, they got what I said before. It's like they have like a particular meeting that they were called as the Order of the Gardener. Yeah, it's like the King Arthur's whatever. It was just the same. They were just following the same ritual, the same ideas from what they know of the legend, and that was all. All right. In order to conclude, we may have something really important to know of the century of plagues. This will just be explained if you watch this video. It will give you like a summary what happened with the Black Death plague. And of course, this is the way in which they were dressing so that they may be they could be protected from the plague. But of course, it doesn't matter. You will just die if you are exposed to this plague in that time. So please watch the following video and you will see how important and bad was the black death plague in that period. So, key elements of the Black Death. We may say that it happened in Edward III reign. It was so horrible display because it attacked the whole world. Many people died, many villages disappeared, towns as well. So this play was very, very negative for the British people. Awful. Right? In order to conclude, it would sound a little bit horrible, but yeah, something good happened after this plague is that yeah, of course, let's remember let's say that many people died, especially the serfs and the slaves. But of course, after this plague, the serfs were taking like a different position. Of course, now they don't have vassals. There were few nobles, and of course, it is important to continue with the agricultural part, with the trading market, and the only ones who were available were the serfs. So it was important to establish a new social class, a new class that it was called the yeomen. So these yeomen became an important part of the agricultural economy because they were the remaining ones. So it was important to assign new landlords so that they may become like the new administrator of the lands by the king. So thanks to this Black Death plague, the Yemen appeared, emerged, and now they are an important part of the social class in England. So, in order to conclude, over here we have the English Civil War, the War of Roses. We're going to recall some elements from this particular topic. Let's see you the following class. But please remember, watch this video and of course make some comments about the two class assignments already given in this session. And of course, you need to watch two videos that I will send here in the WhatsApp group. And finally, please be ready because next class I will ask you about two particular topics, the Purim Revolt and heresy and orthodoxy. So study those two topics so that we can conclude chapter number 7 and start this new one that is called War of Roses that will be linked with the Tudors dynasty. So farewell, see you around, bye bye.